Hey guys, it's me, Wilson, and we're back for another video, and this time it's not on F121 or F122, it's actually answering your questions again on the 22 game. Sadly though, I can't show you any gameplay. I've used all my tokens, you could say, for making videos. You're only allowed to make a certain amount of videos in a certain amount of time frame, and I've used all mine up. So I thought I would answer more of your questions today on the F122 game. I can't answer them all. As I said, I made a tweet, and in the tweet I said I can't answer them all, like career mode, online. I can't answer them really because I don't have access to that. But this is definitely going to be probably the last video I make on the F122 game. I don't think I'll really be making anything else unless I randomly get told I'm allowed to make another gameplay video. Then you might see some more stuff. But yeah, I'm going to be answering your questions. Some I've left out that I might touch on at the end and why I've left them out. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first question here is from FES Crispy, and it says, is ABS still fueling people's ego by being OP, and how much lap time do you drop off with different levels of damaged wings? So for the first part, I actually got asked this quite a few bits from the ABS part. I think someone else asked that, and I got asked that in my DMs. But it's I'm not too sure. I genuinely can't tell you about the ABS. All I can say is if we completely destroy what game it is, let's say we're on 21, I really wouldn't recommend using ABS. You're not really going to get very far with it. A lot of the top leagues are starting to turn ABS off, and if anything, I highly recommend you get it off because it's just not as enjoyable. And especially what I noticed on the new game 22 is it's actually impossible to rear lock at the moment. That's what I found, a lot of people found that too. The rear locking is pretty much non-existent, so I can't imagine ABS is going to be that OP. I mean, the brakes are really strong in the new game, but that's really all I can say on it. And for the other question, how much lap time do you drop off with different levels of damaged wings? Now, in all honesty, I haven't had a lot of damage at all. I think I've had like a little bit of damage at one point and then pit. But from what I noticed from that, and speaking to other people, you can drive with damage a lot better than you can than last game. Last game you could get lime green and that was it. You lose nearly up to half a second a lap. It could even be more, and that's in lime green. So what I done is I done a little test race at Austria, and it felt quite good, like genuinely. If you get damage in this game, you can stick with it if there's only a few laps to go. It didn't feel that bad at all. Maybe setups might change it, I don't know, but from what I saw, it wasn't that bad at all. Hopefully it stays like that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. Damage is pretty good, so let's move on to the next. This question is from Edward Hart. I think I said that right. He's Lickle Blocks, I believe. Old league racing friend. What's the main difference in the way you have to drive between the F121 and 22 game, if any, of course? Yeah, well, there is actually quite a big difference you have to drive. Now, I've only drove in default setup really in time trial, a little bit of Grand Prix, and I could go on for days, but to try and keep it short as possible, your out lap, if we're not talking about outright pace, your out lap is very determined in heating your tyres up. It's very difficult to heat up your tyres. Obviously, you come out the pits now in about 69 degrees, and if you're in the hards, that's even worse. So your out lap is very important. You really need to focus on tyre warm up this year. Your actual lap, you don't overheat as much, and the tyres, especially in qualifying, you don't overheat. I think that might be because it's so hard to heat up the tyres now. Maybe they might want to fix that a little bit, just so when you get to a certain temperature, it rises quicker than it does when it's lower. I don't know, maybe something like that. But the main difference between the actual driving, let's say you're in time trial and you're comparing the two, is the braking. You really need to slam in the brakes this game, really use their full effect. You can really hold the brake for very long without locking up. As I said, you can't lock the rears, you can only really lock the fronts. So you really need to use that left foot of yours to get the car stopped. There's also quite a lot of initial understeer. Mid-corner grip is a lot better than 21. I was watching some 21 gameplay after I played some 22, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to stick, and it doesn't stick because the mid-corner grip in 22 is exceptional compared to 21, but the initial understeer in 22 is quite a lot. The initial hit is probably like, I don't know what game I can compare it to, but it's a bit worse than 21. Again, I don't know if setups will change that, because again, this isn't default setups. So if that can fix that, I think these cars are going to feel quite similar to the 22 cars, or the 2020 cars, not the 22, and the 2020 game. There we go, got it out. I think it will feel quite similar to that, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, in general, I think the game is a good, how do you say it, step in the right direction. The cars feel heavier, they actually feel like a car, I feel. You don't really get that floatiness in the rear end going through fast corners. You still need to drive similar to 21, but the cars are more understeery, the brakes are better, the mid-corner grip's better. You might need to use higher gears here and there, but you can kind of get the gist. You can still feel it's an F1 game, but it definitely is an improvement, and it definitely feels better. So I hope that answers your question. I've tried to go into as much detail as I could. There's not too much I can say without, you actually driving yourself. But yeah, it feels pretty good. So the next question is from KickTB, and he says, how does the gravel work on F1 22? Can you get stuck in the gravel, and is it harder to get out of the gravel? No, I don't think you can get stuck in the gravel. From what I saw, you can't. But you can get stuck in curbs if you run the ride height too low, obviously. I don't know if I've actually shown a video of this. I can't now, obviously, but some curbs, if you go on them too aggressively, you actually bottom out and just go straight on. A good example of this is turn 3 at Britain, that curb on the left. If you use too much of that, you'll bottom out. A lot of the curbs at USA as well, you'll bottom out. So that is what will happen. But I've not got stuck in the gravel. I've not tried it, but I don't think you can, which isn't really a major thing. I mean, we've got to remember it's an arcade / simcade, so we're kind of asking for a little bit too much. I don't think a lot of sims get stuck in the gravel, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. I don't think you do. Okay, so this question is from Marcus Towel. I think I say that right. Can you still take the turn 1 curb in Imola and Austria, and can you take the curb in the second to last corner of Kota? So let's answer this quick. Imola, you cannot. You can no longer destroy those curbs. You have to go round them, which is very good. If you still have to take them, I'd be very disappointed, because I think enough people ranted about that. Austria, you cannot either. From what I've seen and from what I've done, you can't cut it. Again, I don't know if this is going to change with ride heights and stuff and actual setups, but from what I've seen, you cannot cut it. It just doesn't allow you. You'll get bounced out, and yeah, it's just not worth it. Can you take the curb in the second to last corner at Kota? I know what corner you're on about, but that curb isn't very aggressive. It's quite a soft curb. From what I've noticed, yes, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's too quicker. These cars are a lot about carrying momentum, and to really mount that curb isn't really carrying that much momentum, so I'm not too sure. But either way, that curb's pretty soft compared to the other ones. So I think you might be able to, but I'm not too sure. Next question is from Kev_F1. Do the soft tyres still overheat during a race at Kota? I don't really know, to be honest. I've seen a few YouTubers do a race at Kota, so maybe you can go check that out. But in general, the tyres don't overheat at all, really, in this game so far. I've not noticed it in qualifying or any races. I know Kota can be quite bad for it, so maybe they'll get close. But I can't imagine they overheat, which is a bit disappointing. Maybe it will change. I'm not too sure. I think that's because they've made tyre warm-up more difficult this year, and maybe they've made it a little bit too difficult when you get to the higher ranges of temperature. So maybe that's one thing they could sort of fix, add a little bit more temps as you, let's say you get to 95 degrees in the tyres. That's when it starts to escalate and get a little bit tougher to drive. I don't know, something like that. But no, from what I know of, I don't think they do overheat the same as last game. But yeah, that's all I can really say. The tyres in general don't really overheat this game. And yeah, that's all I can really add. Okay, next question is, are we still stuck by the game during the safety car restart? I actually done a safety car restart, and I wasn't stuck. This question is by ACSE477. Forgot to read your name out, but yeah, I've not actually been stuck so far. I don't know if that was just because the game didn't stick me, because I was in the midfield as well, so I couldn't really like you know, bomb away. I wasn't in first. I wasn't, but I don't know if that's still a thing. If you want to figure this out, though, I'm sure there's lots of YouTubers who've done races with safety cars. Team Marduk, Tom97, Arva probably, maybe even Yarno, people like them. I've probably tested this out, so I'd probably go look at them. But for me, no, I haven't. I didn't get stuck. I wouldn't be surprised if you're the leader and you do get stuck, because then people would just flat out and it would end in a little bit of chaos. But from what I know, you do not get stuck under the safety car restart. Okay, so the next question is from Brett Kosh, the VSR manager, and Shizu Joey. How competitive do you believe pad users will be on the upcoming title, and pad OP or wheel OP? Now, I genuinely can't answer this, as I'm horrible in pads, so even if I wanted to try, I couldn't try. But I don't think it's going to be OP. I don't think either of them will be OP. I think the wheel is going to be better as usual, as it should be. It is a driving game. You have to move the wheel to get the maximum out of it. It's a driving game at the end of the day. Pad should not be better. So I don't think pad's going to be OP. I don't think pad will ever be OP. The last time it was good was 2019. Like, that was the last time it was properly good. And that's when I would say it was OP. But I think they'll still be there or thereabouts. I mean, the only pad player I can see being good is Louis. He's the one you really need to worry about, or the only one you really need to worry about. So he might be up there, but again, I think it'll be just like the 21 game. I don't think there's going to be much difference. I'll be very surprised if it's OP. I mean, the only thing I can see it being good on is traction. Traction is pretty difficult this game. But yeah, as I said, I don't think it's going to be as OP as it was in like 2019 per se. I think it's going to be pretty similar. So yeah, that's really all I can comment on those questions. Now, I got asked a few other questions, which I've just chose not to really take screenshots of and put in, because they're kind of base questions. I'll quickly go through them. I'll bring my screen up. I'll show you the actual questions on my Twitter feed, and we'll answer a few of them pretty quickly. And yeah, we just get to it. Okay, so quickly, we're just going to go through a few of them. Quickly, from Adam Fugate. As we can, did you get any chance to try adaptive AI? If so, how did it work? I don't really know what you mean by adaptive AI. I imagine you just mean like the AI level. I think that's what you mean. I'll just comment in the AI. The AI is, I don't really race against the AI, so it's hard for me to tell. But what I've noticed is they send lunges a lot more. They're pretty aggressive. I think they are harder this game, to be fair. But I'm not too sure. I'd ask somebody like Tom97 for that. He's probably a better person to ask. But yeah, that's all I've really noticed. They're just a little bit more difficult. They defend, they act like more humans. They do make a little bit too much mistakes, I've noticed. But hopefully that is fixed for the new game. What is this? We answered that question. Sparks, the BTEC Sparks. What's the VSC/safety car delta? I didn't add this in because I literally have no clue. I don't think it's going to have changed. It probably is the same as last game. Wouldn't surprise me at all. How's the curb and track limits? Didn't add this in as well because I've been asked this multiple times and have answered it. The curbs, they bottom you out, and the limits are the exact same. There's nothing wrong with the limits. I don't know why people want them changed. I don't know how they want them changed. It's the white line, and that's all it is. Doesn't need to be changed. We answered that one. That guy didn't really... That guy was having a bad day. Why are you so slow? You can't mock it. How much does damage affect you? We answered that. We answered that. Double stacking. Didn't add this in because I have no clue. I can't imagine that'll have changed. Setups. What do they do now? Genuinely, I have no clue. You're asking me way too early for this. Literally on no setup work. It's a beta as well. I was just kind of getting to grips with the handling model. So I have no clue. Genuinely, no clue at all. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed that video. I just went through those at the end quickly because I think some of the questions, they were good questions, some of them, but either I haven't tested it out or it's just too early to say anything. Like the setups question, I don't know. And even if I did know a few tricks, I don't think I'd be saying. But I promise you, I have no clue what the setup tricks and the meta is, to say the least. But I think this is going to be the last video I make on F1 22, unless something changes. I don't know. Maybe I'll make something. If you want to see a certain video below in the comments, put a comment in. I'll try and make the video. I can't really show gameplay unless I get a free token out of the blue. But yeah, that's been it from me. put in the comments if you want to see anything else. There might be a league racing video up soon, Thursday, Friday maybe. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on if you want. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.